gentlemen, as you know, on February 9th, Camp Liberty came under missile and mortar attack. More than 8 people were killed. Now, as some of you know, the National Council of Resistance of Iran, the NCRI, opened up an office here in Washington. And this embassy of sorts will serve as a valuable voice of the Iranian opposition here in Washington. Now, I think you'll agree with me that Secretary Clinton was courageous. She was courageous when she removed the opposition's terror tag back in September. But now is the time, in the lead-up to this summer's elections, to unleash the forces of freedom and democracy and to promote regime change from within. The Iranian opposition, represented by the NCRI and the MEK, is the only grassroots movement prepared to lead Iran into the 21st century and towards a more prosperous future. If this Congress is listening, if this administration is paying attention, the message I have is clear. And I agree here with Ted Poe. It's time for the U.S. Congress to act. Regime change from within is the only sensible option. Looking to shift attention away from these domestic troubles by suppressing dissent, silencing minority voices, pledging solidarity with the world's tyrants, and choosing who will get to participate in the upcoming elections. But in the lead-up to these elections, this Congress can take important proactive steps. If the leaders who you'll be hearing from today and outside this room care about freedom and democracy, I am asking them, and I think you should too, to affirm that the conditions at Camp Liberty do not meet the security and living standards called for under international law, and they should insist that residents be transferred back to Camp Ashraf while they await safe resettlement in third countries. Individuals in this Congress should denounce the brutality, the repression, and the irredeemable nature of the fundamentalist Iranian regime and demand that the Obama administration and world leaders abandon calls for continued nuclear negotiations. And they should support the Iranian people's calls for democracy in Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, I am absolutely confident that if we take these actions, if we do these things, that we will support an Iranian spring that will lead to a free and democratic Tehran, and that in the near future we won't be meeting here in Washington, D.C., but we'll be meeting in a free, democratic, and prosperous Tehran.